A little recap of what we had done. Lord entering Dwarka. Lord has arrived in Dwarka. Then how Lord enters his palace, and every queen thinks that Lord is with him. And in this way, the super emotions of the queens of Vrindavan, queens of Dwarka has been mentioned. And in this way, today we'll be doing 35th verse, right? 11th chapter, 35th verse, first canto. Sa eva naralokesmin avatirna swamayaya nareme sri ratna kutasto bhagavan prakruto yatha. Sa, he, the Lord, Esha, all these, Naraloke, on this planet of human being, Asmin, on this, Avatirna, having appeared, so a personal, internal, Maya, causeless mercy, they may enjoy Sri Ratnaha, woman who is competent to become a wife of the Lord, Utastaha, among Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Prakritaha, mundane, Yatha, as if it were. So that Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, appeared on his planet by his internal potency, enjoyed himself among competent women as if he were engaging in mundane affairs. So Lord appears by his Atmaya, by his internal potency, and here everybody thinks, oh, Lord is having a mundane dealing, like Lord plays with the children, Lord enjoys the company of his wife, but they are not ordinary wives. They are the most competent devotees, the most competent women. Some are internal parshadas, the eternal parshadas. There's some, because of their own wonderful sadhanas, have come to the level of becoming the wife of Lord. So it is up to Lord who to select. So in this way, Lord is engaging himself in mundane affairs. It seems like that. But he appears with his causeless mercy. Out of his causeless mercy, he appears by his internal potency. Daya Sagar Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Seshanara Lokesmin Avatina Swamayaya Remestri Ratna Katastho Bhagavan Prakritoyata. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, appeared on this planet by his internal potency and enjoyed himself amongst competent women as if he were engaging in mundane affairs. Purport: the Lord married and lived like a householder. This is certainly like a mundane affair, but when we learn that he married 16,108 wives and lived with them separately in each and every palace, certainly it is not mundane. Therefore, the Lord, living as householder amongst his competent wives, is never mundane, and his behavior with them is never to be understood as mundane sex relation. The women who became the wives of the Lord are certainly not ordinary women, because to get the Lord as one's husband is the result of many, many millions of births, tapasya, austerity. When the Lord appears on different lokas or planets, or on this planet of human beings, he displays his transcendental pastimes just to attract the conditional souls to become his eternal servitors, friends, parents, and lovers, respectively, in the transcendental world, where the Lord eternally reciprocates such exchange of service. Service is pervertedly represented in the material world and broken untimely, resulting in sad experience. The illusioned living being, conditioned by material nature, cannot understand out of ignorance that all our relations have in the mundane world, here in mundane world, are temporary and full of inebrities. Such relations cannot help us be happy perpetually. But if the same relation is established with the Lord, then we are transferred to the transcendental world after leaving this material body and become eternally related with Him in the relation we desire. The women amongst whom He lived as their husband are not therefore women of this mundane world, but are eternally related with him as transcendental wives, a position which they attained by perfection of devotional service. That is the competency. The Lord is Param Brahma, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Conditioned souls seek after perpetual happiness in all places, not only on this earth, but also on other planets throughout the universe, because constitutionally, a spiritual spark as his can travel to any part of God's creation. But being conditioned by material moods, he tries to travel in space by a spacecraft and so fails to reach his destination. The law of gravitation is binding upon him like the shackles of a prisoner. By other processes, he can reach anywhere, but even if he reaches the highest planet, he cannot attain that perpetual happiness for which he is searching like a life after life. When he comes to his senses, however, he seeks after Brahman happiness, if knowing it for certain that unlimited happiness which he is seeking is never attainable in the material world. As such, the Supreme Being, Parabrahman, certainly does not seek his happiness anywhere in the material world, nor can his paraphernalia of happiness be found in the material world. He is not impersonal because he is leader and supreme being amongst innumerable living beings. He cannot be impersonal. He is exactly like us, and he has all the propensities of an individual living being in fullness. He marries exactly like us, but his marriage is neither mundane nor limited by any experience in the conditioned state. His wife therefore appears like a mundane woman, but factually they are all transcendental liberated souls, perfect manifestations of internal energy. Hare Krishna.
Seems to be like a marriage, like seems to be like a woman, like a not in a way wife, but they're all internal energy manifestation, perfect manifestation of internal energy. Karna bhava पिशुनामलवल्गुहास व्रीडावलोकनियतो मदनोऽपि यासाम् सम्मुह्य चापम् अजात् प्रमदोत्तमास्ता यस्येन्द्रियं विमत्थितुं कुहकैर्न शेकुः. Uttama bhava pishun amala valguhasa. Udgava means very grave, wonderful expression. Bhava, pishun, exciting. Amala, spotless. Valguhasa, beautiful smile. Now, the queen's ecstatic emotions and their expressions have been described. Greed, a corner of the eye, Avaloka looking, Nihata conquered, Madana, Cupid, or Amadana, the greatly tolerant Shiva. Api also, Yasam, whose Samhiya being overpowered by Chapam Bose, Ajahata gave up Pramada woman who maddens, Uttamaha of high grade, Ta all, Yasya whose Indriyam senses Vimathitum to Petra, Kuhakai by magical feats, na never Sheikh who was able. So although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they would conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attractions, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. Just they're trying to agitate senses. All others are agitated. Shiva is agitated. Then Cupid is agitated. But Lord is not agitated because Lord is beyond all this agitation. So they are the perfect women. So it is generally said the man of the house should be very, very like there's a word which says he should not be agitated, nor he should be peaceful. That's a nice word. It's not immediately coming. Nice word. Udasin. Udasin. He should be udasin. That means he should not react. Even though my wife may try to agitate, he should not react. It's very difficult. In material life, it's very difficult. It's difficult even for Lord Shiva. But Lord is udasin. And this udasinta can come if a person is completely engaged in devotional service. Is engaged in devotional service? Yes, it can happen. He can be calm. And but if he is not agitated, then how the children will be produced? So that is why Krishna gives his agitation. But at the same time, the devotees, a lot of responsibility is there on the head of the devotee. He cannot behave like a mundane person. That is why it is very clearly said, even if a person has to have a sex life, that should be for a higher goal, to have Krishna conscious children, not for the just sense gratification. Okay, now here Lord they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. Krishna Priya read.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranamataji. Uddhama bhavapi sunamalavalguhasa Vridavaloka nihato madanopi yasam Sammuhya chapamajaha pramodautthamastha Yasyendriyam vimuditam kukuhendra seikuhu. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attractions, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. Purport. The path of the salvation or the path going back to Godhead always forbids the association of human, and the complete Sanatana Dharma or Varnashrama Dharma scheme forbids or restricts association with women. How then can one be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is addicted to more than 16,000 wives? This question may be relevantly raised by inquisitive persons really anxious to know about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. And to answer such questions, the sages at Naimisaranya have discussed the transcendental character of the Lord in this and in following verses. It is clearly herein that the feminine attractive features which can conquer Cupid or even the supreme most tolerant Lord Shiva could not conquer the senses of the Lord. Cupid businesses is to invoke mundane lust. The whole universe is moving, being agitated by Cupid arrow. The activities of the Lord world are being carried on the central attraction of male and female. A male is searching after a mate to his liking, and the female is looking for a suitable male. That is the way of material stimulus. And as soon as a male is combined with a female, the material bondage of living being is at once tightly interlocked by sex relation. And as a result of this, both the males and females' attraction for sweet home, motherland, bodily offspring, society, and friendship, and accumulation of wealth becomes the illusory field of activities, and thus a false but in, indefatigable attraction for the temporary material existence, which is full of miseries, is manifest. Those who are therefore on the path of salvation for going back home, back to Godhead, are especially advised by all scriptural instructions to become free from such paraphernalia material attraction, and that is possible only by the association of the devotees of the Lord, who are called the Mahatmas. Cupid throws this arrow upon the living beings to make them and after the opposite sex, whether the party is actually beautiful or not. Cupid's provocations are going on. Even among basely societies who are all ugly looking in the estimation of the civilized nations. This Cupid's influences is exerted even among the ugliest forms. And what to speak of the most perfect beauties? Lord Shiva, who is considered to be most tolerant, was also struck by Cupid's arrow because he is also become made after the Mohini incarnation of the Lord and acknowledged himself to be defeated. Cupid, however, was himself captivated by the grave and exciting dealings of the goddesses of fortune, and he voluntarily gave up his bow and arrow in a spirit of frustration. Such was the beauty and attraction of the queens of Lord Krishna. Yet they could not disturb the transcendental senses of the Lord. This is because the Lord is all perfect, Atma Rama, or self sufficient. He does not require anyone's extraneous help for his personal satisfaction. Therefore, the queens could not satisfy the Lord by their feminine attractiveness, but they satisfied him by their sincere affection and service. Only by unalloyed transcendental loving service could they satisfy the Lord, and the Lord was pleased to treat them as wives in reciprocation, thus being satisfied by their unalloyed services only. The Lord reciprocated the service just like a devout husband. Otherwise, he had no business becoming the husband of so many wives. He is the husband of everyone, but to one who accepts him as such. He reciprocates. This unalloyed affection for the Lord is never to be compared to mundane lust. It is purely transcendental, and the grave dealings which the queens displayed in natural feminine ways were also transcendental because the feelings were expressed out of transcendental ecstasy. It is already explained in the previous verses that the Lord appeared like a mundane husband, but factually his relation with his wives was transcendental, pure, unconditioned by the modes of material nature. Hare Krishna.
So nicely Prabhupada writes, what attracts Lord? Pure devotional service. For that, he is ready to be bound in the heart of the devotees. Though is Ajitaha, still a devotee can bind him. This way, then he behaves. But what attracts him is not like the attraction what a mundane boy has. It is not the outward dress or outward expressions. No, it is sincere attempt in devotional service that attracts Lord. Tamayam manyate loko yasangam api sanginam atmaupamyena manujam vyaprulvanam ito buddha tam ayam manyate lokaha. Unto Lord Krishna, I am all these common men. Manyate, do speculate within the mind. Lokaha, the conditioned souls. He certainly, asangam, unattached. Api, in spite of. Sanginam, affected. Atma, self. Ayupamyena, by comparison with the self. Manujam, ordinary man. Vyapranvanam, being engaged in. Yataha, because. Abudaha, foolish, because of ignorance. The common materialists, conditioned souls, speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached. So now, the common materialist conditioned souls, what they do? They think that Lord is one of them. I am means a common man. Children, I am, enam, they refer to living entities. Now here they are referring to common man because those living entities who identify themselves with the body and they are so conditioned, lokaha, they are conditioned. So what they see, they think that Lord is one of them. They start speculating. So in that speculation, in that ignorance, speculation, or you can say ignorance, abuddha, foolishness, ignorance, they think that Lord is affected by matter, sanginam, atmaha. They're comparing with themselves. Oh, Lord is also affected. Manujam means ordinary man. They think the Lord is engaged like an ordinary man. Vyaprinvanam, they are engaged. Lord is engaged like an ordinary man. But Lord is unattached. This knowledge they don't have. Though Lord is behaving like a husband, doing all the activities, all household activities Lord does perfectly. If you see the household activities of Lord, his daily activities, daily routine, Bhagavatam it is given, the daily routine of Lord. Why he should wake up early in the morning and meditate? Then the question arises, onto whom he meditates? But we are supposed to meditate on him. Then onto whom is he meditating? He's meditating on the devotees. That is how Lord shows how should be your daily activity. You should wake up early, meditate, and then be with the children and go to your work. Lord's chariot stands and Lord goes to the palace. Lord meets his ministers because in Dwarka is the king. The Lord gives them suggestions. Now why Lord should engage them? Lord, for him to do all these activities, how much time it takes? He just have to call his energies, Parasa Shakti Vivideva Shunyate. But saying Lord acts, how should a person be? Then Lord comes from the office, then Lord freshens up, Lord is with his wife, Lord plays with his children, So acts like a perfect householder. But Lord is unattached. Very difficult to understand this word, unattached. A mundane person, he also does the same thing, but he gets entangled, attached. Because of attachment, entanglement. And Lord is unattached, that is why he's always beyond even liberation. In fact, he gives liberation. How can we say he's liberated? He is beyond everything. He awards liberation to those who are surrendered to him. Mundane person not only gets entangled, make others also entangled. But Lord awards liberation to those who serve him. So serving Lord, being so much affectionate to Lord, like a wife, like a son, that requires bhagya. The devotees also can take the mood and serve him very sincerely. Lord sees the sincerity and gets bound in the heart of the devotees. And all the circumstances, so many exams will be there. To walk in devotional service is not so easy. Lord tests how much the devotee wants to serve me. So all the circumstances, whatever mission Srila Prabhupada has given to us through his disciples, one has to do it sincerely and seriously. Okay. Vimala Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Tamyam manyate go hasangamapi sanginam atmaupamyena manujam vyapranavanam yato buddha. Translation: the common materialistic conditioned souls speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached. Purport: the word Buddha is significant here. Due to ignorance only, the foolish mundane wranglers misunderstand the Supreme Lord and spread their foolish imaginations amongst innocent persons by propaganda. The Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, is the original primeval personality of Godhead, and when he was personally present before the eyes of everyone, he displayed full-fledged divine potency in every field of activities. As we have already explained in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, he is completely independent to act however he likes, but all his actions are full of bliss, knowledge, and eternity. Only the foolish mundaners misunderstand him, unaware of his eternal form of knowledge and bliss, which is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. His different potencies work in a perfect plan of natural sequence, and doing everything by the agency of his different potencies, he remains eternally the supreme independent. When he descends on the material world by his causeless mercy to different living beings, he does so by his own potency. He is not subject to any condition of the material modes of nature, and he descends as he is originally. The mental speculators misunderstand him as the supreme person, and they consider him impersonal features and as inexplicable Brahman to be all. Such a conception is also the product of conditioned life because they cannot go beyond their own personal capacity. Therefore, one who considers the Lord on the level of one's limited potency is only a common man. Such a man cannot be convinced that the personality of Godhead is always unaffected by the modes of material nature. He cannot understand that the sun is always unaffected by infectious matter. Thus, mental speculators compare everything from the standpoint of experimental knowledge of their own selves. Thus, when the Lord is found to act like an ordinary person in matrimonial bondage, they consider him to be like one of them without considering that the Lord can at once marry 16,000 wives or more. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, they accept one side of the picture while disbelieving the other. This means that due to ignorance, only they always think of Lord Krishna as like themselves and make their own conclusions, which are absurd and unauthentic from the version of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Okay, next verse. Etad Ishanam ईशस्य प्रकृतिस्थोऽपि तद्गुणैः न युज्यते सदात्मस्थैर्यथा बुद्धिस्तदाश्रया एतद् ईशनम् ईशस्य प्रकृतिस्थोऽपि तद्गुणैः न युज्यते सदात्मस्थैर्यथा बुद्धिस्तदाश्रया. So etad is Ishanam, divinity, Ishasya, of the personality of Godhead. Prakritistha, being in contact with material nature, api in spite of tadgunaihi, by the qualities, none ever, yujjate, is affected, sada atmasthai, by those who are situated in eternity, yatha, as is buddhihi, intelligence, tat, the Lord, ashraya, those who are under the shelter of. So, etat, this is the divinity. What is the divinity? He is unattached. Though he behaves like a mundane person, he is unattached. This is the divinity of Lord. So, prakritisthi, that means even in contact with material nature, he is not affected. Even if he comes in this material world, he is not affected by gunaihi, by the qualities. Na yujjate, he is not affected. In this way, sada atmasthai, he is always situated in eternity. Yatha buddhi ashraya. So the devotees who have taken his shelter do not become influenced by the material qualities. Again, very important this is. Ashraya. Ashraya tattva is Krishna. Whoever has taken the shelter of Lord, his intelligence is never affected. Yucchatehe buddhi, na yucchatehe buddhi. And he is also situated in eternity. So that is why one has to take ashraya of Krishna. If he has taken complete shelter of Krishna, he will not be influenced by the material modes, because he also understands his eternity, his divine relationship with Krishna. So to understand the eternal aspect of Lord, that how Lord is eternal, how a jiva is also eternal, how the relationship of the jiva is eternal with Lord, for that one has to take ashraya of Krishna, who is completely eternal, who has no tinge of material nature. Even though if he is coming in contact with them, when Lord descends, naturally is in the material world, but unaffected by the modes of the material nature. Mam chayo vicharini. Now, verse is there. Mam chayo vicharini. Open that verse. Bhagavad Gita. Avyavichari Bhakti. Open. Mam chayo vichareena. Bhakti yogena sevate. Sagunan samatitetan. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Sagunan samatitetan. Beyond material nature. When it can happen? Mam chayo avyapicharani bhakti. Avyapicharani bhakti means without getting affected by, without any motives, without interruption. One should just perform devotional service. Mam chayo vicharani bhakti yogena sevate. Always serve Krishna. Then sagunan samatitetan. Then you can cross these three modes of material nature. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Can always be situated in the Brahman aspect. What is the Brahman aspect? In eternity. So when we say Brahman aspect, that doesn't mean that Nirakar. Don't come to that conclusion. Brahman means understanding the eternity. As a Prabhupada always says, be eternal, be eternal. Things may sometimes work according to what you want, sometimes not. It doesn't matter. Just serve Krishna without any motives. Okay. Kusum, read.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. सोऽपि तद्गुणैः न युज्यते सदात्मास्ते यथा बुद्धिस्तदाश्रया. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. Purport. In the Vedas and Vedic literatures, Shruti and Smriti, it is affirmed that in the divinity there is nothing material. He is transcendental, nirguna, only the supreme cognizant. Hari, or the personality of Godhead, is the supreme transcendental person situated beyond the range of material affection. These statements are also confirmed even by Acharya Shankara. One may argue that his relation with the goddesses of fortune may be transcendental, but what about his relation with the Yadu dynasty, being born in that family, or his killing the non-believers like Jarasandha and other asuras directly in contact with the modes of material nature? The answer is that the divinity of the personality of Godhead is never in contact with the qualities of material nature in any circumstances. Actually, he is in contact with such qualities because he is the ultimate source of everything, yet he is above the actions of such qualities. He is known, therefore, as Yogeshwara, or the master of mystic power, or in other words, the all powerful. Even his learned devotees are not affected by the influence of the material modes. The great six Goswamis of Vrindavana all came from greatly rich and aristocratic families, but when they adopted the life of mendicants at Vrindavan, superficially they appeared to be in wretched conditions of life, but actually they were the richest of all in spiritual values. Such Mahabhagavatas, or first great devotees, although moving amongst men, are not contaminated by honor or insult, hunger or satisfaction, sleep or wakefulness, which are all resultant. Some of them are engaged in worldly dealings, yet are unaffected. Unless these neutralities of life are there, one cannot be considered situated in transcendence. The divinity and his associates are on the same transcendental plane, and their glories are always sanctified for the action of Yogamaya or the internal potency of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord are always transcendental, even if they are sometimes found to have fallen in their behavior. The Lord emphatically declares in the Bhagavad Gita 9.30 that even if an unalloyed devotee is found to be fallen due to a previous material contamination, he is nevertheless to be accepted as fully transcendental because of his being engaged sent person in the devotional service of the Lord. The Lord protects him always because of his rendering service unto him, and the fallen conditions are to be considered accidental and temporary. They will vanish in no time. Hare Krishna Mataji.
तम्मेनिरे बलामूढा स्त्रैणं चानुव्रतं रहः अप्राणविदो भर्तुः ईश्वरं मतयो यथा. The last verse. Come unto Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, menire, took it for granted. Abalaha, delicate. Mudha, because of simplicity. Strainam, one who is dominated by his wife. Cha also, Anuvritam, follower. Raha, lonely place. Apramana Vidaha, unaware of the extent of glories. Bhartuhu, of their husband. Ishwaram, the supreme controller. Matayaha, disease. Yatha, as it is. So now, the simple and delicate women truly thought that Lord Shri Krishna, their beloved husband, followed them, was dominated by them. They were unaware of the extent of the glories of their husband, as the atheists are unaware of him as the supreme controller. So these delicate, mudha here refers to delicate, simple women. They thought that he's Trinam. Dasharatha is known as Trinam, you know that? Because technically it is shown that how he got influenced by Kaikai. Kaikai could influence Dasharatha. Though Dasharatha did not want to, but still she overpowered. That is why in some places very clearly it has been given that he is Trinam. Now here the women also think that Krishna is also Trinam. we can dominate him. But it was very difficult. They were unaware of the extent of the glories of Lord. Apramana vidaha. Apramana vida means, though he acts to be bound, but he is not bound by anyone. So in this way, they don't know the glories of Lord. Now the comparison is given like how the atheist, they cannot understand the real thesis. Matayaha. Matayaha yatha ishwaram. The yatha refers to as comparison. So as the atheists cannot understand Lord, in the same way, the women who are very simple, they also could not understand the glories of their husband, Krishna. Okay, who will read? Aneja Prabhu, you can read.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। तम्मे निरेय बला मूढ़ा स्त्रियणं चानुव्रतं ब्रह अप्रमाण विदो भ्रतुर ईश्वरं मतयो यथा। Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The simple and delicate women truly thought that Lord Shri Krishna, their beloved husband, followed them and was dominated by them. They were unaware of the extent of the glories of their husband, as the atheists are unaware of him as the supreme controller. Purpose. Even the transcendental wives of Lord Krishna did not know completely the unfathomable glories of the Lord. This ignorance is not mundane because there is some action of the internal potency of the Lord in exchange of feelings between him and his eternal associates. The Lord exchanges transcendental relations in 5 ways: as proprietor, master, friend, son, and lover, and in each of these pastimes, he plays fully the potency of Yoga Maya, the internal potency. He plays exactly like an equal friend with the cowherd boys, or even with friends like Arjuna. He plays exactly like a son in the presence of Yashoda Mata. He plays exactly like a lover in the presence of the cowherd damsels, and he plays exactly like a husband in the presence of the queens of Dwarka. Such devotees of the Lord never think of the Lord as the supreme, but think of him exactly as a common friend, a pet son, or a lover, or a husband very much dear to heart and soul. That is the relation between the Lord and his transcendental devotees who act as his associates in the spiritual sky, where there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets. When the Lord descends, he does so along with his entourage to display a complete picture of the transcendental world, where pure love and devotion for the Lord prevail without any mundane tinge of lording it over the creation of the Lord. Such devotees of the Lord are all liberated souls, perfect representations of the marginal or internal potency in complete negation of the influence of the external potency. The wives of Lord Krishna were made to forget the immeasurable glories of the Lord by the internal potency, so that there might not be any flaw of exchange, and they took it for granted that the Lord was a hand-picked husband, always following them in lonely places. In other words, even the personal associates of the Lord do not know him perfectly well. So what do the thesis writers or mental speculators know about the transcendental glories of the Lord? The mental speculators present different theses as to his becoming the causes of the creation, the ingredients of the creation, or the material and efficient cause of the creation, but etc. But all this is but partial knowledge about the Lord. Actually, they are as ignorant as the common man. The Lord can be known by the mercy of the Lord only and by no other means. But since the dealings of the Lord with his wives are based on pure transcendental love and devotion, the wives are all on the transcendental plane without material contamination. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the first canto, 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. Hare Krishna.
So, any questions? Once we complete 12th chapter, we'll examine. Okay.
Mataji, what is the meaning of the last sentence? Since the dealings of the Lord with his wives are based on pure transcendental love and devotion, the wives are all on the transcendental plane without material contamination. Means,
When you serve Krishna, sagunan samati tetan brahma bhuyaya. Right? The moment you take ashraya of Krishna, you are beyond all this material contamination. No lust, no anger, no greed.
but the queens, they did not know that Krishna is God.
So what? Lord, even if you don't know what are the components of the medicine acts, isn't it?
Same last sentence, Mataji, what the Mataji said, when all these wives were on transcendental love and devotion, always on transcendental plane without material contamination.
Anything attacked with
did they get covered by the material potency, Yoga Maya?
Even
why they were not able to understand that Krishna is the Lord?
That is Krishna's wish. Krishna wants that their loving sentiments should not have the tinge of opulence and sweetness. But in here it is not Mahamaya, it is Yoga Maya. And again, when you serve Krishna, automatically the material coverings slowly vanishes, and they have got Krishna as husband. Just think, Krishna is sitting with them. Krishna is hugging them, kissing them. Oh, once they know, oh, he is my God, then how that feelings will come?
Is the meaning for us that Krishna has the inconceivable potency, that we should also understand that Krishna's potency is inconceivable, even their wives could not understand. We are we to understand the Krishna. Is it
Why
for that?
wives should understand Krishna has unlimited potencies? They need not understand. Krishna did not want them to understand. In fact, they are thinking that they have so much of potency that they can bind Krishna. Krishna wants, Krishna loves such affairs. When they think that, oh, we are controlling Krishna, is henpecked, they get an immense potency, an immense pleasure out of that. Krishna sees, aha, what an immense pleasure you are keeping. Okay, I will add up to your Yoga Maya. Now, this is also Yoga Maya covered there. The knowledge is covered. But that is increasing the pleasure of Krishna also, pleasure of the wives also. Actually, it increases the pleasure of Krishna.
From time to time, Mataji, from time to time at various stages, Krishna covers his pastimes by the Yoga Maya. What is the particular purpose for that? To make us understand that Krishna's potency is inconceivable?
That is there, but Krishna wants to relish. That is why. It is for his enjoyment.
Okay.
Okay, Vimla?
But Krishna is full of bliss. Krishna himself is bliss. Why he needs enjoyment?
He wants more enjoyment. What is that? Bhagavan Apita Ratri, and it starts, this verse starts in the Rasa Leela. Pancharas Adhyaya starts with this. Bhagavan Api, though he is Lord, though he is self-satisfied, though he is Atmaram, Atmatruptaha, still he wants.
Means he is lacking something, that is why he wants. Is he lacking something, that is why he wants?
No, he is not lacking anything. When he wants to give. What he wants to give, that ultimate happiness even to the devotees. So it is not that he wants, he is Atmatrupta. But these leelas gives the happiness to the devotees. And he wants to give that. And the gopis ran and came. Do you think Krishna wants? No. Krishna doesn't want. At the same time, Krishna wants. Krishna can want also. Can say, I want. And he wants to give pleasure. So it's up to him. His potencies are unlimited. So Krishna wants to show that his potencies are inconceivable, means we cannot even think about it. Beyond our imaginations, beyond our speculation, beyond our understanding. Okay. So now we'll start with next class with the 12th chapter. So 10th, 11th, 12th will be for examination. Okay, 36 verses are there. So we'll try to complete in 3-4 weeks. Then have exam for that. Then we have 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, 17th, 18th. So in this way, we have still 3 units to go. This is first unit, second unit, 3 units. Once this is done, then the second canto you will be entered. Okay? Hare Krishna. Manchakudevasya Pipasindhuvyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava.